Dear students, Namaste. I Pratik Tavde from Vidyalankar Polytechnic, Vadala, Mumbai. Welcome you to this module on interference and system capacity. After completion of this module, the learners will be able to describe co-channel interference and adjacent channel interference, describe channel planning for wireless systems. Different sources of interference are another mobile in same cell, a call in progress in the neighboring cell, other base station operating in same frequency band, and non-cellular system leaks energy into cellular frequency band. There are two major cellular interference such as co-channel interference and adjacent channel interference. Several cells that use same set of frequencies is called frequency reuse, which we have already studied. To reduce co-channel interference, co-channel cells must be separated by minimum distance. When size of cell is approximately same, then co-channel interference is independent of transmitted power and co-channel interference is a function of radius of the cell, which is denoted by letter R, and D, which is distance to the center of the nearest co-channel cell. Remember, Q is equal to D upon R. Increasing ratio Q is equal to D upon R, then interference reduces, where Q is co-channel reuse ratio. For a hexagonal geometry, Q is equal to D upon R, which is also equal to square root of 3n. A small value of Q provides large capacity. A large value of Q improves transmission quality, smaller level of co-channel interference. This table indicates co-channel reuse ratio for some values of cluster size. Adjacent channel interference. Interference from adjacent in frequency to the desired signal. Imperfect receiver filters allow nearby frequencies to leak into the passband. Performance degrades seriously due to near-far effect. Figure shows adjacent channel interference. Adjacent channel interference can be minimized through careful filtering and channel assignment. Keep the frequency separation between each channel in a given cell as large as possible. A channel separation greater than 6 is needed to bring the adjacent channel interference to an acceptable level. Now let us understand power control for reducing interference. Ensure each mobile transmits the smallest power necessary to maintain a good quality link on reverse channel. Long battery life, increase signal to interference ratio, and it also solves the near-far problem. Now it's time to reflect and think, what are the different types of interference in mobile and wireless communication? Pause the video, think and write down your answer in the notebook. Once you have done, then you can start the video. Now let us understand channel planning for wireless systems. The process of assigning the appropriate radio channels to each base station in a cellular systems is very important. These should be an appropriate frequency reuse ratio and an adequate separation between adjacent co-channel cells. The wireless engineers will have to deal with some practical problems such as difficulties associated with radio propagation and imperfect coverage regions of each cell. Generally, the available mobile radio spectrum is divided into control channels and voice channels, which carry the data messages. Out of the entire spectrum, only 5% is allotted to control channels and remaining 95% is allotted to voice channels. Any suitable frequency reuse scheme can be chosen. The frequency reuse strategy applied to the control channel is generally different than applied to voice channels. Sectoring is used for improving the signal to interference ratio, which can result in smaller cluster size. For CDMA schemes, cluster size n equal to 1 and frequency planning is far less difficult as compared to that in TDMA systems. CDMA systems need hard handoffs similar to TDMA and FDMA systems. I am very thankful for attending this module on interference and system capacity. I wish you all the best for further learning. Thank you.